Welcome back. You got Will and I-Man here from the Block Runner MetaZone, Rovi, and MScribe, and today we got the DeFi of Bitcoin shenanigans.
Shenanigans or
the awakening.
The next coming of what's it called? DeFi Jesus.
Yeah.
Remember DeFi Jesus on Ethereum was Andre Cronje.
That's right, yeah.
We were like, dude, this guy's killing it out there in the Ethereum landscape.
Definitely was.
Yeah, so I don't know where he is these days. Kind of just disappeared a bit from the scene, but nonetheless, we're going to have a Bitcoin DeFi Jesus at some point, and our job is to try and, again, keep our finger on the pulse of these happenings. So this brings me back to like the good old days. Mm-hmm. We were first discovering DeFi and Ethereum.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were looking at something very similar to this chart we're looking at, right? It's like a TVL.
Yeah, total value locked.
Right. It was a TVL like scanner / just witness the growth of this incoming beast, right?
Yeah, it was called DeFi Pulse.
That's true. It wasn't even DeFi Llama.
Yeah, they dropped the ball, and then DeFi Llama picked up the ball and ran a touchdown.
Pretty much. So here they are tracking stacks, and they track basically every other chain environment that has any kind of DeFi capability to it.
And now they're tracking Bitcoin. Let's
just go ahead and look at Ethereum overall, because it is the #1 TVL. So this is like an overall market comparison. Mm-hmm. Where are we at? 29.5 billion.
29.5 billion
on Ethereum.
It maxed out at about 102 billion, 103.
Okay, so that's typical. That's like a good market comparison, because we're about 50 million on stacks or Bitcoin, really in general. Because as of right now, the only real like environment that can be a candidate for hosting any kind of DeFi activity with any kind of level of confidence would be stacks, right?
Right.
And that is quite the gap, dude.
It is indeed. So we're looking at 57 million on stacks. Mm-hmm. Did you also take a look at like Bitcoin here? Look, for some reason, total value locked on Bitcoin itself is 321 million.
Ah, look at that Lightning Network, dude.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to keep our spectacles, because we have taproot assets and such emerging over there. So we gotta definitely keep an eye on what's happening on the Lightning Network.
All right.
Sure. But right now, this video is all about stacks at the moment, because we have some interesting like happenings happening over there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not just Alex Labs anymore. Alex Labs obviously a huge player in that ecosystem.
Yeah, and there's a list down here of tokens, right? Alex, Arcadico, Staking DAO. We got City Coins, Stack Swap, and we got one more here. But all right, let's continue on here. All right, Stacking DAO.
So what we're gonna try to do, I guess, is identify some primitives that are like either they already exist or they're kind of like in construction, and they're actively currently being deployed in stacks, right?
Yeah.
Just like we did in the old days, you know, like, hey, well, you know, what is DeFi, first of all? And what are the different protocols that are going to like contribute to that ecosystem? And then we started discovering them, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, MakerDAO, that's interesting. What is this DAI thing?
Yeah.
Like a whole decentralized organization, like put together this this collateralized system, this over collateralization protocol in order to like sustain a stable coin.
It was amazing. It was amazing at the time, because you could collateralize DAI and then you yield like 8% or 9%. Remember that? Mm-hmm. And that was like part of our exit strategy. It was like make 100K, you stake it, and you make like $8,000 passive. Like,
yeah, it was interesting. Just the idea of like generating a passive yield from your crypto was so new at the time.
It was
groundbreaking for sure. Like, holy shit, I can't believe crypto is this like interesting.
Yeah.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
Right. So that manifested into like a whole summer of manic activity. So yeah, we're kind of like, that's why we're peering our eyes into this. So if you don't know anything about Stacking DAO, here it is, dude. This is their
yeah, this is a tweet thread. So this is like a new feature in Twitter that you can kind of read all this, but STX backing STX is stacking. Mm-hmm. Let's do an update on the roadmap here. So TVL is almost $6 million worth of 6 million stacks.
STX tokens, yeah.
Yeah, that's about $9 million.
Yeah, and as of today, I think they just announced they crossed 10 million. So it doesn't sound like much.
Right.
But it is kind of a big deal, considering this has only been like live for a few days now. So that's pretty rapid growth. People are starting to kind of understand, I want to deploy my liquidity into these protocols, right?
Yeah. So we're going to put this link in the description. Definitely read it. Gives you some context as to like what is happening. They include BitFlow here.
Yeah, and they kind of like elaborate and expand on something that they have called like a point system, right? Because we're going to look at here like they're kind of like their Ethereum counterpart with Lido. Right. I mean, we're talking about like one of the bigger DeFi protocols here, like a liquid stake derivatives protocol.
Mm-hmm.
2.5 billion, but there is no active token for stacking. What's it called? Stacking DAO?
Stacking DAO, yeah.
But they have points out there where you can accrue them based on activity and capital allocation and such. So, I mean, make that mental connection.
Yeah.
However you
make that projection, if you will.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity for entertainment there.
All right, so we got the CEO of Alex. Don't mind me. I'm just taking a moment to reflect on the year of Alex. And so she does a bunch of comparisons here. ABTC is akin to wrapped ETH on Ethereum. Yeah. And then what's another one? We have Alex. We're akin to Uniswap. We have a Polka starter, right, with their Launchpad. And so
it's all there.
Yeah, she's making the comparisons like all that stuff you remember from Ethereum. Well, we're doing it already on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's true. If you go to their like application, you'll see all those, those tools available for consumption essentially.
Yeah,
and they're all there. We've tinkered with them. They do function. Yeah, there's a little bit of like whenever the network gets a bit congested, there's some issue.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected. And to me, that's not that just kind of like is a good signal if you're that early to where, these protocols have to kind of like discover these pain points like the hard way.
Yeah.
Like actually running into like high user traffic scenarios. Like they have to make these adjustments down the line. That's just a representation of where you are in the market cycle, right? It's very early.
Yeah. So here they have the swap. They have an order book for B20, Earn. So farm, stake, lottery, we got bridge, and then Launchpad. And so now let's compare Alex, the market cap here, 226 million.
Just Uniswap. I mean,
to Uniswap, yeah.
She name dropped a lot of different, I guess, primitives, but I would say being declared as like the Uniswap on Bitcoin is probably your biggest reach, right?
Yeah.
So we got like a 5.5 billion. I mean, Uniswap at its peak was pretty massive, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we're looking at what? 25x in its like
current day
potential.
Yeah, I would say so. Which is interesting, dude. I mean, we're talking entertainment here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we got another tweet here. It says Alex monthly active users hits 20,000. It's only the beginning for Stacks. And not only that, it's just a few months ago, it was like hovering between 4,000 and 5,000. That's a month ago, dude.
So what does this chart speak to you, dude? What does it say?
It says up and to the right.
What does that typically mean, though?
That means growth. That means
something's happening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like we looked at these similar types of charts whenever we, first got into Ordinals. Like, hey, the rate of inscription seemed to be doing this up and to the right thing pretty aggressively.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like, you know what? That's probably a sign of something. Like people are gravitating to this. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why these charts are being put out there.
Yeah, and that's why we're talking about it, because
exactly
if this chart is up and to the right, it's something to pay attention to and understand why.
Yeah, if it just stays flat and crabs for the rest of eternity, it's like, I guess there's nothing there, dude.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Arcadico, yes, we hear you, friends. STX is pumping. We've been building hard throughout this bear market. What is Arcadico 2.0? Time for a short thread when we got liquid staking. And they're talking about leveraging arbitrage for USDA. And then don't forget to spend some time with loved ones, of course. Good old PSA.
Yeah.
So Arcadico, let's go to, so they have a couple links here. So they have their app, they have the info, but if we click on their app, it looks like the swapping standard of crypto.
Yeah. But there's multiple prongs to this, I guess, protocol, and the big one is the lending side of things. I think is like, okay, obviously a big primitive on Ethereum DeFi was going to be how do how do we collateralize or use your Ethereum assets as collateral?
Yeah.
To issue new loans and such, create these different, because these are very important, financial activities and tools and such. You can't have decentralized finance without any kind of like lending vehicles, right?
Well, yeah, not only that, but they have like a collateralize your STX tokens to mint your stable coin. Like stable coins is what largely drove our progression for the United States over the last 100 years.
Yeah. Stable currency. Yeah.
Yeah. Stable currency.
Yeah.
And so we need that.
Obviously, Bitcoin is not a stable currency.
No, absolutely not. It's been kind of stable.
Sort of.
Somewhat.
Right. But you actually need true stability in order to build like a real financial market, right?
Yeah.
And we've seen that. And of course, we don't want to have to depend on fiat to be like our most...
Yeah, the stable coin of cryptocurrency.
Yeah, because there's a ton of impending like instability to that system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there's the whole algo stablecoin thing, like that's been out there and about in amok.
Sort of collapsed to a certain extent.
Right, because it's in its experimental stage and such. And of course, there's exploiters coming in to try and capitalize on these narratives. Like, hey, you guys like stablecoins? Well, we've devised this whole fucking thing, architected this smoke and mirrors algorithm.
Yeah.
To stabilize these assets.
I think there was like some sort of institution or something for Terra Luna that used a flash loan to like crash Terra Luna.
Right. So, I mean, it's obviously a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like fragile space, I guess.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it is like you're saying.
Still important.
It's probably the most important. And there's a lot of actors contributing to it. And yeah, like all these protocols we're introducing here, they all have their native like stable coin offering because they all know exactly what you just said. If we're going to build any kind of like DeFi ecosystem, it starts with stability, right?
Yeah.
So
they have something called DLCs. So let's check out what that is. So 4 ways DLC links Bitcoin attesters enable finance on Bitcoin. So what is a DLC? It's a discrete log contracts. They were invented by this guy, Taj, the co-creator of the Lightning Network. They are 202 multi-sigs that enable conditional payments within Bitcoin. So this is interesting because now it seems like the two parties enter into a DLC. A third-party Bitcoin attester generates all potential conditional outcomes. So this is sort of like a way to program logic.
Yeah, I mean it's agreement, right? It's an automated agreement, I guess, with some mechanism
with conditions.
Yeah, which is obviously very important in financial transacting, right? It's like having a middleman without actually having a middleman present, I guess, which is the whole point of DeFi, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is definitely something you need to look into to have like a grasp as to the extent to what these projects are working on.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Like right now, we're just kind of introducing all these protocols. And there's going to be more in the future. But each one deserves its own like dedicated deep dive to really truly understand what it is they're building. Because there's nothing more valuable than trying to build DeFi on Bitcoin, in my opinion. Because it is the biggest sector in like all of crypto as far as like what has had the most success at capturing and generating new value out of Web3. It's been DeFi. That has been like the killer product so far.
Yeah, it has to be.
As far as like real world adoption and such, not really there yet. Because,
Yeah, but if the real world were to adopt, something in crypto, it would be decentralized finance.
Yeah, and it seems likely to be like on Bitcoin as like a...
Yeah, as like the starting point.
Yeah, just because it's already so much further ahead, like from a regulatory standpoint.
Yeah.
And Stack specifically is like pretty, I think has like a huge accolade that kind of gives it like an advantage over most other chain environments, is like they have some semblance of regulatory compliance, right? At least with their initial token offering way back in the day, All
right, let's keep it going here. We got...
we were looking at Aave's price.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we were looking at Aave's price. So market cap, 1.6 billion.
Yeah, we're talking Market Deco's price cap. I guess we don't have it pulled up, but it was like roughly around 10 million last I looked at it or something like that. Oh, boy. Yeah, something like that.
Are we looking at 160x here, dude?
Potentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, 60x of what, dude? Fucking entertainment, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because Aave, I mean, they were like the initiators of lending on Ethereum, right? So again, it's a big deal. It's a big ecosystem need. I'm pretty sure Arcadico isn't going to be the only player in that space, but they've been around. They have some, at least, they have that.
Well, it's huge because they're on this list, right? They're being watched.
That's right. They are being watched, dude, by us and others. Now by probably many more eyeballs after this video gets released, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
All right. So Trust Machines website, they have a guide to Bitcoin stablecoins, USDA, DOC, and others.
Yeah. Admittedly, we have not explored this deep enough. We're literally at the surface right now. So that's what we do, right? It's like, okay, we found something new and interesting. We're doing our surface level analysis.
Yeah.
Just to see if it's truly interesting or not. And there's a lot going on. I guess it's no surprise that considering Stacks has been around for years.
Yeah, that they're already tinkering.
Yeah, there's already, it's like a smart contract environment on Bitcoin. It should be no surprise that there's this much already out there,
Yeah. So we're talking about stable coins here. The counterpart to stable coins on Ethereum is MakerDAO.
How come, dude?
Because of DAI.
Yeah, that was the big first big
collateralized lending.
Yeah, the first big introduction, I guess, of a truly decentralized stablecoin. Right?
Yeah.
That was pretty.
A stablecoin governed by a true DAO.
Yeah, I think so. And then that to us, at least to me, that felt like the real beginning point to that plus Uniswap. Those were two big, huge, critical infrastructure components to, I think, Ethereum DeFi that really got the ball rolling. You remember?
Yeah, because I remember talking about MakerDAO, and they didn't even have a token, and we were like, this is going to be hard for it to go anywhere,
right?
Other than its utility,
right?
But we need some sort of vehicle to speculate. To bring attention to this, and then they launched a token.
Yeah, they and every other DeFi primitive did as well. So it's very interesting. The stablecoin space is critical, and it's going to be interesting to see how it manifests. It's going to come from all different directions and angles. Kind of like we've been seeing on Ordinals. What's going to be the actual fungible token standard on Ordinals? There's been tons of them. But it seems like we're kind of all cohesively, the consensus is starting to form around BRC20s probably.
Right.
At least a large percentage of the consensus is. So I think we'll probably see that at some point with this stablecoin market as well.
All right. And rounding off our comparisons here, we got Stacking DAO. We mentioned earlier the first DeFi integrations. STX. We have a stable swap pair is live on Bitflow Finance.
Yeah, so I guess we didn't really explain too much about what Stacking DAO is, but all we said is it's liquid staked derivatives platform.
Yeah,
which, Lido.
Like you said, we need to go deeper into each of these because we have some questions about liquid staking on Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's interesting because on Ethereum it made a whole ton of sense, right? When people were, Ethereum did its transition to proof of stake. People have been locking up their Ethereum for quite a time now to secure the network.
Yeah.
And by doing so, it's you're removing yourself from the capital markets that are forming on Ethereum, right? That kind of sucks.
Right.
I still want to participate. I want to generate my yield. I want to loan my shit or whatever, and stuff like this. But you couldn't do that, so they created a liquid derivatives market through Lido, Rocket Pool, all these different protocols. So in this sense, nobody's really locking up Stacks or Bitcoin to kind of secure anything at this point, right? But still, the act of staking or locking these assets up to generate these new derivatives, that's where the interest lies. So it's what do you do with these new derivatives? That's kind of the big...
Yeah, what can you do with these derivatives that you can't do with the underlying asset?
Right. It's it's forming competing ecosystems in a sense. Is there going to be a DeFi ecosystem for the native Stacks token at all? Or is it all just going to be just lock up all the Stacks token, which is probably very bullish for Stacks token itself.
Yeah.
If it all just gets locked away just to participate in DeFi.
Sure.
And then, who's going to build the primitives and support the derivatives themselves? So Bitflow is the first. Bitflow Finance.
Yeah. So Bitflow, again, this link will be in the description to kind of break down, the collaboration here between Stacking DAO and Bitflow. But the comparison is Curve DAO. Right. So $660 million here.
And keep in mind, a lot of these like Ethereum DeFi protocols, they used to be like so much more valued.
Yeah.
I'm talking like 10 times more than what they're at right now.
Yeah, that's why it was called DeFi Summer.
Yeah, it was a DeFi mania for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So will that repeat on, Bitcoin?
I think it can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can.
So what do you need to see? Like, when will you be like absolutely convinced like it's happening?
Total value locked above $1 billion. That's when I'll know it's happening.
I think that's what we said last time too. It's like once that little squiggly line traverses $1 billion TVL, that's when like we've hit like a runaway train moment.
Yeah.
And we were right.
So basically, keep an eye on DeFi Llama. This number, once it does 20x here, then now you're talking.
It's like an unstoppable force at that point.
Yeah.
Like it's just gonna. But of course, if you really want to be entertained, you don't want to wait around for that.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I'm picking up what you're putting down, man.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate that.
All right, that's it for us. We did cover a lot. There's a lot of tokens here. There's a lot of potential entertainment.
Yeah, did we miss anything?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah, if you
want to find it all.
Yeah, if you know of a DeFi protocol out there that's lingering, we definitely want to know. So let us know in the comment section below. Appreciate you guys, and we will catch you in the next video.
Peace.